this is Cindy. I'm the Tireless Tangler. Thank you for being with me for Tangle Time today. We are going to be using string number 54 from tanglepatterns.com. We are also going to be using the Zentangle Original Pattern Inzeppel. We may do crazy Inzeppel as well. We are also going to be adding a couple of, maybe one or two fill patterns, organic fill patterns with this. So let's get started. All right, let's start in traditional Zentangle fashion with 4 dots in the corner. Well, 1 dot in each corner. And then we're going to draw in, let me zoom out a little bit. We're going to draw in our border lines. Okay, now string 54 is going to be sort of like well. You're going to put a dot in the upper corner, one corner, it doesn't matter which one, and we're going to draw some sort of well lines in here. I'm talking about the Tangle pattern well. We're not really going to go crazy with them, but it's going to go sort of like this. And then we're going to have 2 long ones coming from each of these corners. Now you'll notice that each of these C shapes, these are C curves, right? C curves. I can't get my hand in. C curves. And so each of these is going to curve in the same direction as you turn your tile, okay? If you're a lefty, you may put it over here and go the other direction, and that's absolutely fine. It's going to work either way, okay? If you want to mirror this, if that's easier for you, go ahead, okay? So now I have decided today to switch between a black micron and a brown micron, and I have decided to do my Inzeppel in black and my organic fill that I'm going to do in brown. So I'm going to use my brown 01 first. I'm going to pause while the motorcycle goes. It's the holidays and it's warm, so of course everyone is out on their motorcycles today. All right, so I have decided to use, I've been trying to decide what organic fill I want to use. My goal has been here the last week or so when we started this, is to teach you guys not only a pattern, but some ways to fill around that will become standard for you. I love the flux fill and the poke root and poke leaf and the garlic cloves, and all of those are all good organic fill patterns. And so my goal today is to show you another one. And the one I want to start with today is called GELIJOY. We did this in the 100 Days Project, I think this year. And yes, of course, this year, Cindy. So it's really simple to do. It becomes sort of a leaf pattern. And so what you want to do is draw sort of a curved line, and you're going to attach a little V shape to the end. Yeah. Then in the step out, my friend Nadine Roller, who is CZT in Cologne, Germany. In Köln, as the Deutschen say. Okay. And then she draws this and hooks them up, and you have a little leaf shape. Voila. Okay. Now, and then you can add a stem or not. Entirely up to you. I'm going to do my little Maria Thomas thing right there. So you can make these however you like, and you can use something else if something else occurs to you more. But I'm going to treat this very much like I do poke root and poke leaf. let's see, I am going to encroach into this. This is where I'm going to put my Inzeppel, in this middle section, okay? And so I'm going to have these organic fills coming in from each side, and I'm going to let them encroach just slightly in here, as we've been learning to do. I'm going to let that overlap into the Inzeppel, and then when I draw in the Inzeppel, I will draw that behind these, okay? So let me demonstrate and see where we're going to end up here. This is really going to be an encroachment. Now, when I draw this, I like to just go around it. But you can do whatever. And in the middle of these, you can orb. Again, as we've been learning to do. And let's put another one. Right here. Okay. Now that we sort of know what we're doing, let's try to relax a little bit. Okay. Let me zoom in just a tiny bit. So just draw these in, start with your little shapes. Now, I definitely have my own way to do this. I love this pattern. I think Nadine is so talented with patterns. She is, by the way, one of the sweetest, kindest people I know. She's just lovely. I wish I could go back to Germany so I could visit my friends, my CZT friends over there. That would be awesome. I don't know if I like starting with the stem. I think from now on I'm going to start with my element. I'm going to get smaller with these as I go around. What I really like to do is leave the stem off and just place these willy-nilly. You guys know how I am with that. Remember, willy-nilly means randomly. I think I'm going to do some of that. Now, I like to curve my little line. Of course, you guys can do as you wish. Just like this. And you can just draw them in behind. Just like all of our other organic fill patterns. If you're a beginner, don't bother to try the overlapping thing until you feel very comfortable with the pattern. And then if you want to, you can go out on your own and do your own thing and play around. But I don't want anybody to ever feel overwhelmed here. I want to provide challenge for the experienced, but also safety for those of you who are new. And I understand how that feels, by the way, to be new. I spent an hour or two this morning reading your comments and talking to a few of you on Instagram. And I just want you to know how much I appreciate the sharing, the words of encouragement, the words of appreciation. I've gotten several emails and, well, quite a few emails, and yeah, I'm still at about 3,000 guys. It's not getting any lower. But you guys are so kind and so encouraging, and even when we have Simba breaks, you're just wonderful about it. And I appreciate that so much. I know I'm terrible about getting the comments answered, and that's really I need help. But I just want you guys to know how much you are appreciated. The comments that you leave and the encouragement that you give me is just wonderful. And so I love the way this turned out. This is looking good. I'm pleased with it. We've got several areas of encroachment that are going to add a lot of interest. And again, if you don't want to do that, you don't have to. But this is how you do it. This is how you draw behind. I just want you guys to have several of these in your repertoire, in your arsenal of tangles, so that when you come upon spaces and you don't know what to put in there, you've got several that you can go to for that, and that you're comfortable with, and that you can just start drawing in, and that immediately relax you, sort of like flux does for so many of us. And if you're not one of those people, that's okay. Not everybody is a fan of flux. You don't have to be. Let's go this way. I like to change it up. Sort of like that. Isn't this a fun and versatile pattern? You know, if you leave off the base, you know, you can make it like poke root and poke leaf and flux like that, and stuff it all in there. And you can put your base on if you want to, but you don't have to. Or you can just hint at it like this. Well, I think I just inked my stem in there, but it'll still look good in the end. I'm gonna stop. So tell me how you guys are doing. I have to tell you that our state is going the wrong direction with this COVID thing. Our governor is stupid. I'm going to say it here. It's a political statement. He's stupid. He thinks that masks should just be normal now. And our state is now 8th in the country in COVID cases, new COVID cases. And it's ridiculous. He is lying. He is shading the numbers that he releases to the public. He is not releasing the actual numbers. He is, fudging that. And I'm furious. So I'm curious, are the rest of you still stuck inside the way that we are? Because if he continues with this attitude of just get over it, I don't know what's going to happen. Politicians that think they know more than science are stupid. I'm going to say it. He's stupid. Kevin Stitt is stupid. There you go. That's my political statement for the day. It irritates me that there is no attempt to put anything into place that will protect the people. He doesn't care about protecting the people as long as business is going. It's all about money with these guys, and which is why I didn't vote for him. I'm disgusted. I mean, wow. This is why I don't watch the news, because I get disgusted easily. And, there's no point in getting this angry about stuff, but oh my God, he's stupid.
Actually, YouTube campaigning for that.
For calling someone stupid?
Well, for calling the president stupid.
I didn't call the president stupid. I called our governor stupid.
The president, the governor.
No, baby, the president is in charge of the United States. The governor is in charge of Oklahoma. We're just one small state with a stupid leader. I'm gonna have to check the rules and regulations on monetization. I might have to leave the ads off of this one because I am hate speeching all over the place right now. Not promoting hate, I'm promoting intelligence, and that's clearly not what's happening in our state. You can't legislate science. You can't legislate Mother Nature. She will teach you. She will school you in a way that you do not want to be schooled. So anyway, that's my rant for the day. I'm extremely angry, but I am curious very much on how other states and countries are doing with this now. Because it's not gone, of course. Nobody is clear of COVID, I don't think. And I don't think we will be until the vaccine is out there and everybody is immunized. and that may be another year. So I guess Governor Stitt thinks that it's fine for people to keep dying in the meantime, and you know, he'll just hope for the best. And yeah, that's nice for him and his rich family. Anyway, I'll stop. I'm just ticked off. Politicians who put the people last are the first thing on my hit list. All right. Well, this turned out pretty good. I'm pleased. So now I'm going to turn this over and decide, do I want to use the same pattern or do I want to change it up and use something different? So on this section, I'm going to show you guys a tangle that I have not previously used before today, and it is called Hatooringkle. Okay, it's that is from half Toodles and half Sprinkle, which are both Zentangle Original Patterns. And so we're going to start this by drawing a Toodles base. Yes, with the two little sort of fescue sticking out. And then we're going to put echo lines, gradually getting smaller, all the way to the top. All right, let me zoom in here and try this on the other side and see how we do. If you get too much line stuff going on there, you just dark that in. Echo lines that get gradually smaller as you come to the top. Isn't that pretty? Okay, so I'm going to put a few more in here. See if I can make that base a little bit more narrow. Probably needs to be longer. Just like that. So let me get used to overlapping this a little bit and see how orbs will go in here. I think they're going to go very nicely. We're going to do a little experiment. And you don't have to do this tangle. If you don't like it, you can use something else. That is fine. Remember what I tell you guys all the time. This is whose art? It is your art. Your art, no one else's. No one can tell you what to do. No one can tell you it's wrong. Well, they might tell you that, but they're wrong. The only person that can know what is right for your art is you. So do what you want, okay? All right, let's make this one a little longer. Okay. Those might need to be a wider too. Now remember, this is not meant to be perfect thing. This is meant to fill a space with something that is interesting, okay? And I think we've achieved that. I think this is interesting. We'll just ink the parts that don't fill up, and yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna like that. I think that's gonna be fun. So let's do one that curves over here. Make these a little bit longer. There we go. Just come out and come down right there on the stem line and get smaller each time. Okay. All right, let's do one this way. And remember, some of these are just going to hint. Okay, so I'm trying to decide if I put these little first little shoots out, if I did those lower down, if I would have less space. Well, that's interesting. Just going to put a cap on that. I'm having a little trouble with this light. All right. Okay, so here I'm going to encroach. And here. All right. And okay. All right. I'm glad I could amuse all of you last time with Kita. It was an interesting day. It was an interesting video. Sorry I got my giggle on there. I'm actually not sorry. I'm not sorry at all. I love laughing, especially at myself. So, yeah. Get low, guys. Get low. All right. My stomach is growling. It's ready for dinner. Might have to have a dinner break. Well, wasn't exactly consistent, but it's still going to work okay. This is fairly forgiving if you're careful, and if you're not, it still works. Goodness. I can't see where I'm drawing here. Okay. So this is basically what we're going to do on this section, and so you really can do these however you like and just really have some fun with them. I'm not going to be able to see that one. Let's go ahead and put this one in first that I can see. When you come down, just follow that stem line all the way down. Go out and down. Okay. So now here I'm just going to hint, and then we will start it up on this side, and I again am just going to follow the stem line down. I said I wasn't going to step these out for you, but I may do this one. So as you're listening to this, you've probably already seen it, which is good. So really, you can play with these little tendrils and do them in several different ways. You can make them low down on your stem or midpoint. I suppose you could do them high up, but not sure how that would turn out. And again, this is a hybrid between the Tangles Toodles and Sprinkle, which has those little caps, those little zinger caps on the ends. Here we go. I've done a bit of a messy job, and that's all right. Anything too messy in here, I can always clean up just a little bit. Now I've encroached plenty over here, and I need to just leave it now. So I'm going to fill up my space. Okay, so this will be interesting. Now, I'm going to change and get my black 01 micron out. And we are going to see what we can do with Inzeppel. Now, let me use this as an example. This is a tile I started with the same string. All right, Simba. Are you done, bud? Okay. So Inzeppel can work in a grid. You can work it in a square grid. You can work it in a wonky grid. You can work it as triangles. You can do a mix. We have a version called Crazy Inzeppel. You really can do this technique with any space in any way you want, okay? And the key is after you've got your grid lines drawn in, you're going to want to round your corners. And Molly Hollabaugh describes this as squishing a water balloon into this space. So what you're going to do, wait, yeah, this is black, freaking out, is you're going to round these, sort of redraw these lines and round off your corners. Okay, just like that. Let me do another one. Just round off your corners. Pretend you've got that water balloon in there and you're squishing it in. And of course, you can't have corners with a water balloon. It's not going to do it. So you're just going to do the best you can and squish it on in there, okay? Now watch what happens as I do these sections next to each other. Depending on whether you use triangles or squares or how you set these up, you may or may not. Now, Crazy Inzeppel, no. But you will get a meta pattern from this. Okay. So you just keep rounding those corners off, squishing those water balloons in there. Yeah. Round them off. Just carefully redraw your, whoops. Carefully redraw your lines, Cindy. Okay, and look at that. Isn't that cool? Now, I know some people who like to black these interstices and some people who like to leave them blank. I have done this Inzeppel with gemstones in the spaces and rounded them up. You can round them with shading easily and make them puff up. So this is basically Inzeppel. And, you know, I could do this and then have these odd shaped ones, yeah, as in Crazy Inzeppel. Yeah, this also works. Now, if you have trouble getting your lines to match up, I have a hint for you, okay? Draw your grid lines in a larger pen nib size, like in a 03 or a 05, and then use your 01 to do your rounding off, and it'll be less messy, okay? If that makes sense. You can see this does work with any shape. Some are more clear than others. But if you follow that hole, you're just rounding off those sharp points. Sort of redefine your lines and round those points off. You're going to find you have something very cool when you get finished. Now this is why I say use a larger nib size. Because if I had used, say, a 05 on these lines, then this would not have happened. It's when or you could use a 01 and then use a 005. To do your rounding. Okay, so this in its essence is how you do Inzeppel. It is just water ballooning the insides of those corners. All right, and whatever shape you've got this, it's gonna work. Okay, so now let's move back onto this tile, and I'm going to do Inzeppel in my black pen. Okay, so since I can't see my outer lines here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to start by doing a dividing line that is very much the way that I'm doing this. Okay, this is actually the tile I started with, and then I realized that I wanted to do my organic so that it could overlap first, and so I changed it out. So anyway, it's already set up. So I'm going to come from this point, and I'm going to make a curved line right like that down the middle. Okay, so now I'm going to add a couple more. That are traveling up here, and they're going to get smaller towards this point. Okay, we're also going to have one coming up here that we cannot see. It's going right here, right here. Okay, the rest of that we really can't see. Okay, and now over here, oops, sorry. Let's do this way. Over here, I'm just going to draw down here. Like that. And any place I run into brown, I'm just going to skip that. Alright, and then probably should have made that a little wider, but it is what it is. You get what you get. And you don't throw a fit. My angles aren't great, and this is, again, this is something you have to practice. Don't worry about it if you don't get it right off, and if it's too advanced, then don't worry about it. You can draw it in the other order and draw the grid lines first, and then put in your organic stuff later. Alright, so now I'm going to sort of roundedly square this off. Again, something similar to this. Okay, so I'm going to draw in. I'm going to start up here. And this is my line right here. So I'm going to make a curved line right here. And I'm going to do another one here. Okay. And I'm going to curve this so that this area here looks more cylindrical. All right. And I'm going to start with vaguely squarish sections. Okay. Each time I add a ring, I'm going to try to get a little bit larger. So that it looks like this is disappearing. That is what's known in art as the vanishing point. Or at least in this section it is. Simba wants to say hi to all of his friends. He hasn't said hi to Karma in a while, so hi to Lynn and Karma. We love you guys, you're awesome. Okay, now here, I'm going to come out from this hole and I'm going to do the same thing going the other direction, okay? So here's my point. Just like this, yeah? And then this will go in here and I'm going to do the same thing. But I'm going to curve them the other direction. So hopefully when we're done we'll get something cool looking. I have no idea. We're gonna find out. It'll be an adventure, won't it, guys? Thank you for being on the adventure with me, otherwise it would not be as much fun. Alright, so something like this is what I'm going to end up with. Alright, now I have a choice here. I can do triangles in much the way that I did here. I like the meta pattern that you get with triangles. If you do squares, it ends up being rather blah, I think. But it is symmetrical, and you may be into symmetrical, and so you might want to do it that way. I think I'm going to do that. I'm going to do it from the other direction, I think. Don't ask me why. I'm just feeling contrary. Now, I also have another choice. I can choose to curve these. Well, I really don't. I have to choose to curve them like this. Okay, so I'm going to go corner to corner. I'm going to try to just curve up. It's a little bit awkward on the go, but that's all right. You just want to go through each corner. Sometimes the trick is knowing where to start. Okay. Oh, that's a big curve. All right. And this is the part where it becomes more intuitive. You just sort of have to feel your way through. Okay. All right. And now these. And these. Okay, now I can go back through them, and then we'll be back down to squares again, sort of like this. I'm trying to decide what I want to do. While I'm trying to decide, I'm going to do this one, and I think I'm going to curve my lines, yeah, like this. Yep. Okay. And we're going to have some interesting spaces in here, and that's fine. It's going to be fine no matter what your, whoops. No, Cindy, no matter what your spaces look like, it's going to be fine. If you make little snafus, you make little snafus, that's fine. We're going to fix them. It's going to be all right. We are not going to worry about them because we have better things to do with our time than worry, right? Right, guys? Let me hear you say, yeah. All right, next thing you know, I'll have you all dancing. I'm just kidding. All right, let's look at this again. I actually think that something like this might be cool. Let's do a quick experiment and divide these again. And see what we end up with. This is my not so careful version of just mocking it up, sort of trying it out. If we do it this way, and we still have the square configuration, but in a smaller scale. And then, let's see, let's do this one. Well, that would work. I don't know. Let me know in comments what you guys think. I'm really itching to cross this right here. So, yeah, I'm going to leave it the way it is because, what an explanation. Okay, I'm going to start while I'm rambling and blabbering right now. I'm going to start with my rounding here. And I'm going to take a deep breath before I start. I'm going to relax my shoulders. Okay, we got this, guys. We got this. This is so simple and easy. Once we get it shaded, it's going to be gorgeous. You're going to love it. Let's just think about the good stuff. Let the negative stuff go. Keep your mind on each stroke of the pen, on squishing your little water balloons in there. Luckily, they're not too slippery. They might get slippery in some spots. Don't worry about it if they do. A good reason for me to be using a 005 here. So I'm out of 005s and I don't have any. That's okay. We're going to make it work. I could have used a larger nibbed pen for the background, but I like to challenge myself. I don't want it to be too clunky. I think this lattice work in conjunction with the organic stuff is going to look really cool. So I hope you guys don't mind. I know that some of you do not like this pattern, but it is very zenful. If you can let yourself relax, don't think about all the spaces that you still have to fill. Just think about each water balloon, each triangular shape, or whatever shape yours happen to be. Once you're finished, move to the next one. Some of these we're not going to be able to see all the sides, and that is fine. Turn your tile frequently so that you've got a nice hand position. If you're interested in this tabletop easel, I guess Danette is still selling them because I know a couple of you have bought them. So Danette's Easels, if you look her up, I'll try to put a graphic up, DANNETTE, Easels, EAS, don't make me spell, guys, EAS, ELS. You can do a Google search for her. She comes right up. This is a wonderful, wonderful tool for people with shoulder, neck, and back issues. I got this shortly after I had neck surgery, or while I was preparing for it, while I had my spine fused in my neck, and twice. And this has made a significant difference to my ability to function and still draw from bed or from like reclining position. It is so nice because it turns so easily, and it has a little thing you can buy extra to stop it from turning if that's what you want. I don't use mine very often, but frequently when I do watercolor or something like that on here, I do. And you may want to change the drawing surface. This mat doesn't bother me. It's like shelf lining material that you use in you know, your garage or utility closet or whatever. But it doesn't bother me to draw on it. And none of the other CZTs I've seen that have this easel have ever experienced any issues as far as drawing on this surface. It makes it very nice. It's a very nice tool to have. So shout out to Danette and her hubby. Hope you guys are doing well. All right. Just take your time. Round the corners off. Don't worry about how it's going to look. Just round your corners. Each little section, don't worry about how it looks. Round your corners. Just round the corners. That's all you need to do. If there's a corner, round it. All right. These small areas, they're not going to be as perfect, if you will, as exact maybe as the others, but you will see they will still work. Just round your corners, guys. It looks like, I think it looks like cobblestones when you get done. And again, if you want, you can black the areas or ink the areas in between. You don't have to. I frequently don't. I guess my go-to is not to ink them. But I know Laura Harms, the diva I am the diva CZT.blogspot.com, does round her or ink her interstices on Inzeppel. And if you want to ink yours, there is nothing wrong with that. You just do what you want to do. I'm a big proponent of creative exploration. I think if there's something you want to try, you shouldn't be asking me. You should go for it. Okay, I'm not quite as good on these lines as I have been. Take your time, Cindy. Round your corners. Just like that. And if you have some spots that go crazy, don't worry. Don't worry. If they're bad, then you'll have to look at it as an opportunity and see what can be done. If nothing can be done, there's that wonderful tangle called Bronx Cheer. Look it up on tanglepatterns.com. It is for obscuring snafus that are not fixable or opportunity laden. You just got a big blob on something, then we got a way to pretty that up, which is good. I think I have had to use Bronx Cheer a couple of times, but not too often. I can usually find a creative way to make something work. Some of these we're just going to pretend that something's going on there. And we're going to let the rest take care of itself. Okay, I've got to make shorter strokes. That's what my problem is for those that shake. I find that shorter strokes are easier for me to handle. And the longer I go, the more likely I am to lose control of my pen strokes. So I frequently try to make short strokes so that I don't allow myself to get out of control. If you do not have this trouble, then God bless you. God bless you. I really want to give a shout out to this young man on Instagram. I think his first name may be Kim, and he is, I'm not sure where he's from, but he is this amazing artist, and he is learning the patterns from me and the techniques from me, but what he does is times 1,000 above what I do here every day. And that pleases me in a way I just cannot describe to you. And he's really shy about sharing his work, but I think he is starting to make it more public. So you guys should look for him. If you guys ever search the hashtag The Tireless Tangler, or go to my profile and look on the little clipboard thing where I've been tagged, and you will see all of y'all's creations, which I find awesome too. But I wanted to give him a shout out because he has done some amazing work, and he is like so many of us and struggles with things. And I just have a deep respect for those of us, all of you out there, because I know the vast majority of my audience are older people and most older people struggle with some of these things. And not all of you are old. I'm not saying we're old, guys. I'm just saying life takes a toll sometimes, and we gotta own up to it. I know it does for me. I have to admit that now that my baby's adoption is coming, I am scared spitless. I do not want to mess this kid up. He is so smart and so funny and so great in so many ways. I am really scared I'm going to screw him up. God help him. God help me. God help us both. If we survive the teenage years, though, we may get a fine young man out of that. I'm very proud of him. He's enjoying football. And as soon as it cools off, then I'm going to get out there to the practices with him. So I want to watch him go. I love the sport of football, and when I say football, I don't mean soccer. I mean American football. I'm not sure what you would call our football if you didn't call it football. I don't know why we have to have different names over here for different things, but, you know, I just go with the flow. All right, now look what we got. And this is your opportunity to sort of fix up any lines that you've got that you feel are off, but look how cool a pattern this is. And once I shade it, it's going to look cylindrical, I hope. Now, over here, let's see what we can do with this mess. I went one way, so did I go both ways here? No, I just went one way here. Let's just do it. Let's just do it. Because we can. Now, if at the end that is so horrible and so distracting that I have to do something to it, I will. But I don't think it's going to be that noticeable once I get the shading and all of this stuff in. Nobody's going to care about that one little space. And I want you guys to believe this. Remember, each piece of art that you do with me, each one, and those of you who've done the 100 Days Project, you've done a lot of the 100 pieces of art. So yay on you, yay on me for doing that too. I still don't know how I do that every year, but we'll keep doing it. It's a thing now, isn't it, guys? We'll announce it next year. We'll have a plan in place, I hope. Won't be starting at the last minute. Although that seems to be my modus operandi. That's Latin for MO. All right. So, who else did I want to give a shout out to? Somebody important. My new CZT friend, Joanna. We were just getting to know each other. She sent me an email today. Or she may have sent it before, but I read it today. I answered her today. Getting to know you guys is the most fun for me. So please leave me comments. Tell me where you're from. Tell me what's going on there. A lot of you I know. Shout out to Annette Dirksen today. Shout out to Julianne Myers, who I haven't pestered in a while. My wee man is doing well. He said, wait, when I told him you called him that, he said, wait, what? Oh, I love languages and cultures, and I love when they collide and become this fun mishmash of just joy. I just love getting to know you guys. So, especially if you're from another country, it's not that I love you more, it's that I want to get to know you. I want to know what language you speak. Most of you, I figure that out from comments. You may leave me comments in your own language, and I will use Google Translate, and usually I get a good idea of what you're going on about. And that's how I make my comments to you, is I use Google Translate, and hopefully you'll know what I mean. Google Translate is not all that exact, but I think you can get across the general idea. When you tell me you like something, I usually get that. Or when you tell me you don't, that's okay too. You are most welcome to tell me the things you do and don't like. Because I do care. I take feedback from you guys extremely seriously. You help me determine how I'm going to do things. And what works and what doesn't. So hearing from you is really important. Alright, I'm just going to close this in, because this looks sort of lost out here by itself. And I think I'll just do an additional one right here. There. Alright. Now, I'm going to go across the bottom here and here. Which you don't have to, but you can. right. Well, I have enjoyed drawing this. I've certainly chattered a lot. Hopefully, my loyal 10 people that watch to the end, God bless all of you. You're still with me. I adore you. Yes, I do. Okay. Let's see what kind of trouble we can get into with some shading on this. I really like how this turned out. Tortillon, pencil, and actually it's paper stump, pencil, and my eraser. Okay. So I'm going to start with my large elements the way I normally do. And I'm going to put some graphite in if my hand will hold still. Starting on this left side, and again, I always shade on the left. That is my way. You do not have to do that. You can shade where you like. And everywhere where the overlapping is happening, I am really laying down some good graphite around that. So I really want to get a good shade on that. Even though the color difference is going to help us here, we still want to get a good shade around these. And I want to make it which is why I have the eraser, particularly dark in this area along the side and along these elements that are overlapping. They do make it interesting. Okay, now what I'm going to do is decide where my shadow line is going to be here, and then I'm going to put a lot of nice dark graphite all along this edge here. These two elements will sort of stick out past that, but the rest of this area I want a nice dark shade in. Okay, and I'm going to blend this. You can always add more, which you know I will. And this I will lift off with my eraser, which is why I keep it. Alright. Okay, and again, I will come back through here and darken this. Let's just take care of this while we're here. There we go. And these will get their own shading as I go. There, okay. Apparently Simba wants some attention.
Actually, I'm making him crazy with water bottle.
Thank you, baby. I appreciate that. That's really helpful. Baby, I'm recording. So nice and dark all along one side. And if you want to do it opposite from this, go for it. That is fine. Now, I don't know how effective this is going to be because this overlaps over here, but we're going to give it a try. If not, we will shade it in a slightly different way. All right, so approximately like that. Then what we want to do is put a very light shadow on this side right over here, and it's going to be a little bit larger. It's very light though, barely touching down. And we're going to leave this over here on the edge free of graphite. Okay, so I'm going to lightly spread this here. We definitely want a color difference between this and this side. I want this side to be really dark and this side to be barely visible, just ever so much of a hint, I think. We'll see. We'll see how this works. Okay, and oops, did not mean to do that. Okay, so what we want over here is this rim light. I'm not going to be able to show very much of it. We're still going to have it there. Just a tiny bit. Let's see, let's add a little bit more here. As I say, I want it really dark on this one side. Alright. So I've got a pretty significant difference in color between this side and this side. And this is what's going to help us look more of a cylindrical entity than something flat. Okay. And we're going to want to keep this area right in here on the top. This is our highlighted area. We really want to keep this nice and clean. And if you get lines like this, you can just buff those out really gently with your tortillon or your paper stump, whatever. And then once you're finished, you can come over here. Got an eraser like mine, which is, some of you that have bought this have told me, wow, this is the best thing ever. You're right, it is. This is a Tombow Mono Zero eraser. You can get them on Amazon, under $10 US. So that means the rest of the world is even less because our exchange rate is so terrible right now. But yeah. Okay, so I think I'm getting there. I'm probably going to want to add shading now. Everywhere on this side where I've got this overlapping here, I'm going to want to add some color right here along the edges to sort of offset this. We're not going to encroach too much on this area because we've got a different thing going on there. Just ever so slightly. Okay. Now, over here, let's see. I really want to just do this opposite, so I'm going to shade again on the left, even though I'm 180 degrees. And I'm going to put, again, my dark line of shading right here, and it's going to have this curve to it, you know, just like that we've got in the pattern right here. And over here, okay, that looks sort of bulgy to me, so we have the opportunity to either contour this in some way or just use the shading to mute it, which is, I think, what I'm going to do is just mute this with this light shading right here. And we'll leave this middle, darken this up, we'll leave the middle plane blank. So, yep. Simba is panting hard. I don't know what he's got in mind, but probably spells bad news for the rest of us. I'm just kidding. He's just the best thing ever. Simba, you got a fan club, buddy. I was reading all your comments to him. He just looked at me like, I don't know what you're talking about. Can't understand it. Can't understand it. All right. So let's pull some of this out of the middle here. Let's see. Oh, we got some cleanup to do over here, don't we? Here. Now. I have an opportunity. I'm going to, of course, shade my organic elements. But I have an opportunity here. I can shade them with graphite, which is going to look fine, or I can shade them with colored pencil. And so that's sort of what I'm mulling around right now in my head. So I think while I'm mulling, I'm going to put some graphite just on one side so that I can do this on my, sort of like that. So I'm just putting graphite to one side of this initial stroke and blending that just a little bit to contour the leaf shape. If it's too small to do that, you can just put a hint of color down at the base. And if you don't want to shade this, you don't have to. I just find that the more attention to detail you pay, the more dynamic your art turns out. So, you know, stop when you want to. When you feel like it's done, stop. But as I go through, and I do it in layers, as I've told you guys, and as I go through, the more I find that I want to tweak. So, and that's just fine. Make it your own. I'm kind of making a mess here. I'm really having trouble controlling my hand right now. I've got muscle spasms happening in the upper part of my arm, and so it's making my pencil jerk. And so I apologize for that, but it is what it is. I'm not going to let it stop me. Okay, so over here, what I think I want to do with these is I want to shade on the inside and see how that looks, and then I'll decide what I want to do else. Even just a tiny bit of graphite really does perk these up. I think I'm just going to go ahead and shade in graphite. I think that's going to give me enough contrast. I think the colored pencil would be fine, but I don't want to get trapped in a box either, and I want to be able to make my work dynamic just with graphite alone, or with my black bear thin. That's always my option. Now on this one, it's large enough to where I think I'm going to shade just a little bit on both sides, give a little bit of contouring, and here especially where they are overlapping elements. So let's see how we end up. Simba has had dinner. Now he is watching the world go by. Right next to my bed, he has a little window that goes down to the ground. He likes to sit by it and put his nose on there. You can barely see out there because of all the nose marks. And he likes to bark at anybody that goes by. And that includes down the block, across the street, 3 blocks down. If you're walking, oh my God, we're going to hear about it over here. Which is why Simba is not a public access service dog, because he is ornery and likes to bark at everything. Well, what happened was before he was a year old, he lived with my Sean out in the country, and they just let him run wild. He ran all over the place with his sire, with his dad, and they were just loose out in the country. And so his prey drive was activated before I got him back, after Sean's passing. And so it was too late to take that back. Once a prey drive in a dog is activated, then it's a really hard thing to teach out of them. And so we just decided, he'd have to stay in. All right, let's see if this paper stump is going to work for this. It's a little bit large for this fine work that we're doing here. So I hope you guys have enjoyed exploring Inzeppel. If you already know this tangle, you may hate it, you may love it. I don't know. Let me know in comments how you feel about it. Your comments really do help me decide which tangles are going to be included in these. And you know, when you tell me, ooh, I don't like that one, or that one was tough for me, you know, that gives me information that I can use then to help make my choices ongoing. So I think I need to do some more shading in between these. Let me get this part buffed out first. Okay, now this. Some of these I'll need to bring my eraser in and clean up the extra graphite. I always tend to get too much, which is why I use the F pencil. That way I still get plenty of color, but I don't go quite as bad. If this was a 2B pencil that I had used this way, oh my gosh, we would have a big problem right now. Okay, so let's see. Let's zoom out on this. Okay, well, I definitely will be doing some tweaking. I will definitely be darkening my shading along this one side. I'll be getting out my Verithin in black and really darkening all of these contoured spots. I will also come through here with my Mono Zero and lighten up the tops of these. Some of these that got way too much graphite on them, I'll pick up some of that. Just sort of clean them up. And there you go. So I think this is where I'm going to leave you today. This is not as... I think if I had to do it again, I might choose some different tangles. But again, my point for these is to expose you to some of these fill patterns that you can use, and to talk about ways that you can incorporate strings and make them dynamic and overlapping like this. So whatever it is, whether you took away a new tangle from this, whether you took away a new technique, whatever it was, I hope you enjoyed sitting and drawing with me today. I appreciate you guys so very much. I wanted to remind you guys, if you're posting your art, please post to Instagram and tag me at The Tireless Tangler. And if you don't want to do it that way and just want to send me an email with your art in there, go for that too. It is thetirelesstangler@gmail.com. Thank you guys so much for being with me today, and I am going to see you soon.